Glitterstim ASMR, the Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures Game ASMR channel. My name is Andy Myers. In today's episode, I will be whispering the text from the Rulebook included in the 2nd edition core set, an elegant booklet of a more civilized age. This is the first video in a series that will include the sacred X-Wing texts. Pour yourself some blue milk and enjoy some refreshing brain tingles while we refresh our memories of the core set rules. Star Wars X-Wing Rulebook. Introduction. Your T-65 X-Wing's engines roar as you swerve into the asteroid field, skirting debris and fragments of past battles. You snap your S-foils shut and flare the thrusters, boosting through a narrow gap between two drifting, ponderous asteroids. As you clear the field, the worried clicks of your faithful astromech and the flash of lasers alerts you to the TIE fighters ahead. You set your S-foils to attack position. Game overview. In Star Wars X-Wing, 2 players each control a squadron of starfighters from the Star Wars universe and pit them against each other in thrilling tactical space combat. 1 player wins when all enemy ships are destroyed. Getting started. If players would like to quickly jump into their first game of X-Wing or simply get a feeling for the fundamentals by experiencing a tutorial, they should start with the Quick Start Guide. The Quick Start Guide does not include all of the rules of the game, but covers most of the important subjects. Alternatively, this rulebook is a more technical document, breaking down some aspects of the game into many steps. The goal of the rulebook is to teach new players the rules of X-Wing, using the ships included in this product. Once players understand how to play and desire to build squads, they should consult the online rules reference to answer any further questions. The rules reference is updated to include information about new ships as they are introduced into the game and can be found at xwing.com. Assembling dials and ships. If players did not play through the Quick Start Guide, they begin by assembling their ships and maneuver dials as described in the diagrams on this page. Ship assembly. To assemble a ship, follow these steps. 1. Place the chosen ship token in the base with its rectangular bullseye arc over the chevron, which points to the front of the base. 2. Insert 1 peg into the tower of the base. 3. Insert the 2nd peg into the 1st peg. 4. Insert the small post on the bottom of the plastic ship miniature into the 2nd peg. ID tokens. Players use ID tokens to differentiate their ships. During setup, each ship is assigned 3 identical ID tokens. A pair of ID tokens are inserted into the plastic base, and the 3rd token is placed on the ship's card. 1 player places them so that the white numbers are displayed, and the other player displays the black numbers. Place the ID tokens in these slots. Maneuver dial assembly. Before playing, assemble each dial as shown. Connect the dial back to the dial front marked with T65. Then connect the dial backs to the dial fronts marked with TF. Setting wings to attack position. To open the S-foils of the T-65 X-Wing, gently pinch the top engines with 2 fingers of one hand and the bottom engines with 2 fingers of the other hand. To close the S-foils, gently pinch the right side engines with 2 fingers of one hand and the left side engines with 2 fingers of the other hand. Component list. 1 Quick Start Guide, 13 ship cards, 4 quick build cards, 3 maneuver tiles, 3 back plates, 3 face plates, 3 plastic connector pairs, 20 upgrade cards, 33 damage cards, 3 ships, 3 plastic ship miniatures, 6 plastic bags, 3 plastic bases, 1 range ruler, 11 templates, 2 position markers, 2 hyperspace markers, 1 first player marker, 8 ship tokens, 6 obstacles, 3 asteroids and 3 debris clouds, 6 dice, 3 red, 3 green, 3 tile ID tokens, see page 15, 4 shields, 6 charge, standard charges, 2 force charges, 6 lock tokens, 3 ion tokens, 5 stress tokens, 1 disarm token, 18 ID tokens, 4 focus tokens, 3 evade tokens, 3 critical damage markers, see page 9. Fundamental concepts. Before learning the steps of the game, it is important to understand these basic concepts since they are referenced in multiple sections. Ships. Thematically, in X-Wing, the players control the decisions of their pilots, choosing how they navigate their ships and which targets they attack. Each ship in the game is represented by a ship card, a ship token, and a plastic miniature, base, and bags. Each ship card includes a variety of information about the ship, from the types of attacks it can perform to its defensive capabilities. Each ship and maneuver dial has a ship type, e.g. TIE LN fighter. Each ship assembly is paired with a dial of the corresponding ship type, which is used to plan its movement. Initiative. Each ship has an initiative value on its ship card and token. Initiative represents the pilot's reflexes, skill, or even luck. 5. Luke Skywalker, red 5, initiative value on a ship card. Numerous elements of the game refer to initiative, but its primary function is to determine the order in which ships act. The rules often instruct ships to act in initiative order, which means the ships take turns in numeric order. The rules will always specify whether to start with the lowest initiative, ascending order, or the highest initiative, descending order. If a player has 2 or more ships with the same initiative, that player decides the order in which they act. If both players have ships with the same initiative, those ships act in player order. The player who receives the first player marker during setup is the first player. Their ships of that initiative act first, then the other player's ships of that initiative act. First player marker. Measuring range. To determine the distance between 2 objects, X-Wing uses a range ruler. The range ruler is divided into 3 numbered range bands. To measure range between 2 objects, place the range ruler over the point of the first object that is closest to the second object. Then aim the other end of the ruler toward the point of the second object that is closest to the first object. While measuring range from ships, measure from the plastic base, not from the miniature. An object is at the range that corresponds to the range band that falls over the closest point of the second object. 2 objects, ships, obstacles, devices that are touching are at range 0 or each other. Likewise, an object is at range 0 of itself. The X-Wing is at range 0 of the closer TIE fighter because their bases are touching. The X-Wing and the farther TIE fighter are at range 2 of each other because the closest point of the TIE fighter is inside the 2 range band. An object is beyond a range if no part of it falls between the object being measured from and the specified range. The TIE fighter is beyond range 1 and at range range 2 of the X-Wing. The asteroid is beyond range 1, beyond range 2, and at range 3 of the X-Wing. Setup. Before playing a game, each player chooses the ship and upgrade cards they wish to use. This process is known as squad building. How to build squads is described later. After players build their squads, they set up by resolving the following steps. 1. Gather forces. Each player places their ships and upgrade cards on the table in front of them. For each ship that has a shield value, charge limit, or force capacity, place the corresponding shields or charges above the ship and or upgrade cards. A player assigns ID tokens to each of their ships. 2. Determine player order. While using squad points described later, the player with the lowest squad point total chooses who is the first player. Otherwise, randomly decide the first player. 3. Establish play area. Establish a 3-foot by 3-foot, 91 centimeter play area on a flat surface or using a playmat such as the Fantasy Flight Games Starfield playmat. If desired, players can agree on a different size for their play space. Then players pick opposite edges of the play area to be their player edges. 4. Place obstacles. In player order, players take turns choosing an obstacle and placing it into the play area until all 6 obstacles have been placed. Obstacles must be placed beyond range 1 of each other and beyond range 2 of each edge of the play area. Obstacles must be placed beyond range 1 of each other and beyond range 2 of each edge of the play area. The gray area on the figure on the right shows where obstacles can be placed. 5. Place forces. Players place their ships into the play area in initiative order from lowest to highest initiative, using player order as a tiebreaker. Players must place ships within range 1 of their player edge. 6. Prepare other components. Shuffle the damage deck and place it face down outside the play area. If the players have more than one damage deck, each player uses their own deck. Then the supply of range rulers, templates, dice, and tokens is created near the play area. Play. X-Wing is played over a series of rounds. Each round consists of 5 phases. 1. Planning phase. Players choose maneuvers for their ships using maneuver dials. 2. System phase. Some ships can resolve specific abilities. 3. Activation phase. Each ship moves and performs actions. 4. Engagement phase. Each ship may perform an attack. 5. End phase. Circular tokens are removed from ships and some charges recover. After each end phase, players start a new round beginning with the planning phase. Players continue to resolve rounds until one player has no ships remaining. Phase 1. Planning phase. During this phase, each player uses a maneuver dial to secretly set a maneuver for each of their ships. Each type of ship has a different dial that thematically reflects its unique capabilities. A maneuver indicates how a ship will move. It has 3 components: speed, the number, bearing, the arrow, and difficulty, the color. The speed and bearing determine the distance and angle of the maneuver. Difficulty is explained later. Each maneuver corresponds to a template that displays the same speed and bearing. This template corresponds to both the 1 forward and the 1 K-turn maneuvers. To set a maneuver for a ship, the player takes a dial corresponding to that ship and rotates it until the arrow points at the maneuver they would like to set. Then the player assigns the tile to its corresponding ship by placing it face down in the play area next to that ship. This tile is set to the 3-bank maneuver. After all ships have tiles assigned to them, play proceeds to the system phase. Phase 2, System Phase. Some ships have special abilities that indicate they are used during the system phase. All of these abilities are resolved in initiative order, starting with the lowest initiative. The ships contained in the X-Wing core set do not have any of these abilities, but some expansion ships do, such as the TIE, PH, Phantom, and Ghost expansions. Phase 3, Activation Phase. During this phase, each ship activates one at a time. Ships activate in initiative order, starting with the lowest initiative. When a ship activates, resolve the following steps. 1. Reveal dial. The ship's assigned dial is flipped face up and placed next to its ship card. 2. Execute maneuver. The ship executes the maneuver selected on the reveal dial. 3. Perform action. The ship may perform one action. After all ships have activated, play proceeds to the engagement phase. Executing a maneuver. When a ship executes a maneuver, the player uses a template to change the ship's position. Then the ship may be affected by the maneuver's difficulty. To move the ship, the player follows these steps. 1. Take the template that matches the maneuver from the supply. 2. Set the template between the ship's front guides so that it is flush against the base. 3. Pick up and place the ship at the opposite end of the template, sliding the rear guides of the ship into the template. 4. Return the template to the supply. After moving the ship, the player checks the difficulty color of the maneuver. If the maneuver is red, the ship gains 1 stress token. If the maneuver is blue, the ship removes 1 stress token. Stress token. Example of executing a maneuver. 1. The player revealed a blue 2 right bank. Then they take the 2-bank template from the supply. 2. The player places the 2-bank template in the play area in front of the ship, sliding the template between the front guides. 3. The player picks up and places the ship at the opposite end of the template, sliding the rear guides of the ship into the template. 4. The maneuver is blue, so the player removes 1 stress token and returns it to the supply. A ship is stressed while it has 1 or more stress tokens. A stressed ship cannot set or execute red maneuvers, and it cannot perform actions. After a ship gains a token, such as a stress token, it is placed next to the ship. As the ship moves, the tokens move with it. Performing actions. Choosing and performing actions are some of the most impactful decisions a player makes during the game. Actions provide several benefits, primarily the ability to reposition or to enhance offensive or defensive capability during the engagement phase. Since most actions influence the engagement phase, actions are explained later in the additional rules section on pages 10 and 11. Example of position marker usage. It can be difficult to precisely move one ship over another ship. When players desire a higher level of precision, they can use a precision marker to track ship positions. In the example on the right, a TIE fighter is in the path of the X-Wing's maneuver. To precisely measure the X-Wing's final position, a position marker is used to indicate the position of the TIE fighter. The TIE fighter is in the way of the X-Wing's movement. Mark the TIE fighter's position, then remove the ship. Next, complete the maneuver. Now replace the TIE fighter and remove the position marker. Phase 4, Engagement Phase. During this phase, each ship engages one at a time. Ships engage in initiative order, starting with the highest initiative. When a ship engages, it may perform one attack. Therefore, ships with high initiative get to attack first. After all ships have had the opportunity to engage during the engagement phase, the players proceed to the end phase. To understand how to perform an attack, players must first understand arcs and targeting restrictions. Arcs. Each ship has 4 arcs printed on its ship token: front, back, left, and right. Ships attack from their printed firing arc, which is the arc on the ship token that is shaded. The color of the shading corresponds to the faction of the ship. Targeting restrictions. To target a ship, 2 conditions must be met. The ship's base must be in the attacker's firing arc. The target must be at range 1 to 3. The attacker measures to the closest point of the target that is in the attacker's firing arc. This measurement is called the attack range. Example of targeting. The TIE fighter is attempting to attack the X-Wing. Part of the X-Wing's base is in the TIE fighter's front arc, so the first requirement is satisfied. The closest point of the X-Wing's base that is in the front arc is at range 2, so the second requirement is satisfied. Thus, the TIE fighter can attack the X-Wing. Note that although the attack range is range 2, the 2 ships are at range 1 for all other purposes outside the firing arc. Performing an attack. To perform an attack, a ship follows these steps. 1. Declare target. Measure range to any number of enemy ships and determine which enemy ships are in the attacker's firing arc. Choose one of those ships to become the defender. 2. Attack dice. The attacking player rolls attack dice, red, equal to the attack value on the attacking ship's ship card. Then, the defending player may use their abilities that modify the attack dice, followed by the attacking player. 3. Attack value. 3. Defense dice. The defending player rolls defense dice, green, equal to the agility value on the defending ship's ship card. Then the attacking player may use their abilities that modify the defense dice, followed by the defending player. 2. Agility value. 4. Neutralize results. Each evade result cancels 1 hit or critical result, removing both dice from the dice pool. All hit results must be cancelled before crit results are cancelled. The attack hits if at least 1 hit or crit result remains, otherwise the attack misses. Deal damage. The defender suffers damage equal to the remaining hit or crit results. 6. Aftermath. Abilities that trigger after an attack are resolved.
Suffering damage. Damage causes ships to lose shields or be dealt damage cards. There are 2 different types of damage: hit, regular damage, and critical damage. For each damage a ship suffers, it loses the shield by flipping the shield to its inactive side. If it does not have an active shield remaining, it is dealt a damage card instead. For hit damage, the card is dealt face down. For crit damage, the card is dealt face up and its text is resolved. All hit damage is suffered before crit damage. A ship is destroyed when the total number of face up and face down damage cards it has equals or exceeds its whole value. Destroying ships is explained on page 11. Remember, page 11.
Example of an attack. 1. Luke Skywalker has an initiative of 5, and Academy Pilot has an initiative of 1, so Luke engages first during the engagement phase and can perform an attack. 2. Academy Pilot is in Luke's front arc. The Rebel player measures range from Luke to Academy Pilot. The attack range is 2. 3. Luke rolls attack dice equal to his attack value, getting 1 blank result and 2 hit results. 4. Academy Pilot rolls defense dice equal to their agility value, getting 1 focus result, 1 evade result, and 1 blank result. 5. The focus and blank results have no effect. The evade result cancels 1 hit result. 1 hit result remains uncancelled, so the attack hits. 6. Since 1 hit result was not cancelled, Academy Pilot suffers 1 hit damage. They do not have any active shields, so they are dealt 1 face-down damage card next to their ship card. Critical damage markers. Some of the face-up damage cards have lingering game effects. If a ship is dealt a face-up damage card with a persistent effect, place a critical damage marker next to it to remind players of that persistent effect. Phase 5, End Phase. During the end phase, players remove all green and orange circular tokens from their ships in the play area, and some charges on cards may flip to their active side. All of these components are explained later in the additional rules section. If both players have at least 1 ship remaining, play proceeds to the next round and a new planning phase begins. Winning the game. After this phase ends, the players check to see if somebody has won the game. If only 1 player has a ship remaining in the play area, that player wins. Additional rules. After players understand the basic rules, they are ready to learn the game's remaining concepts. Actions. Actions represent things a pilot can do, such as repositioning slightly or flying defensively. A ship may perform 1 action during the perform action step of its activation during the activation phase. The actions available to a ship are listed in the action bar on the right side of its ship card. In addition to the action during the perform action step, card abilities may instruct the ship to perform additional actions. There is no limit to the number of actions a ship can potentially perform. However, a ship cannot perform the same action more than once per round. Some action icons are red. After a ship performs one of these actions, it gains a stress token. A ship that is stressed for any reason cannot perform actions or execute red maneuvers. Action bar on ship card. Red action on action bar. Linked actions. Some ships have actions linked to other actions on their ship cards. A ship can perform a linked action after it performs the action to the left of the linked action. Barrel roll action linked to the focus action. Types of actions. The actions included on a ship or upgrade cards in this product are described below. Focus. Focus represents the pilot clearing their mind of distractions, allowing them to act in harmony with the galaxy and improve their compatibility. Focus token. When a ship performs a focus action, it gains a focus token, which is placed next to that ship. While attacking, a ship can spend a focus token during the attack dice step to change all of its focus results to hit results. While defending, a ship can spend a focus token during the defense dice step to change all of its focus results to evade results. All unspent focus tokens are removed during the end phase. Evade. Evade represents the pilot flying erratically or unpredictably to make it harder for enemy ships to hit them. When a ship performs an evade action, it gains an evade token, which is placed next to that ship. While defending, a ship can spend an evade token during the defense dice step to change one of its blank or focus results to an evade result. Just like focus tokens, all unspent evade tokens are removed during the end phase. Barrel roll. Barrel rolling allows a pilot to move their ship laterally and adjust their position. When a ship performs a barrel roll action, it follows these steps. 1. Take the 1 forward template. 2. Place the short edge of the template flush against the left or right side of the ship's base. The template must be placed with the middle line of the template aligned with the hash mark on the side of the base. 3. Lift the ship off the play surface, then place the ship so that the hash mark on the other side of the base is aligned to the front, middle, or back of the other short end of the template. A ship cannot barrel roll if it would overlap another ship, or if it would move through or overlap an obstacle. A TIE fighter barrel rolls to the right and slightly forward, slightly backward, or straight across. Boost. Boost represents a pilot activating additional thrusters to move farther forward. When a ship performs a boost action, it follows these steps. 1. Choose the 1 forward, 1 bank left, or 1 bank right template. 2. Set the template between the ship's front guides. 3. Place the ship at the opposite end of the template and slide the rear guides to the ship into the template. A ship cannot boost if it would overlap another ship, or if it would move through or overlap an obstacle. An X-wing boosts to the left, straight, or to the right. Lock. Lock represents the ability of a ship's computer to obtain a target lock, tracking the target's movement and assisting with attacks against it. When a ship performs a lock action, it follows these steps. 1. Measure range from the locking ship to any number of ships. 2. Choose a ship at range 0 to 3. 3. Assign a lock token to that ship with the lock's number matching the ID token of the locking ship. A ship is locked while it has at least 1 lock token assigned to it. While a ship attacks a ship it has locked, during the attack dice step, it can spend its lock to reroll 1 or more of its attack dice. A ship can only maintain 1 lock at a time. If it locks again, it must remove the previous lock. While the X-Wing performs a lock action, it measures range to all ships, then chooses a ship to lock onto. The player chooses the only TIE fighter in range and assigns it the 1 lock since the X-Wing has the 1 ID token. Card actions. Some cards, such as damage and upgrade cards, have abilities that include the action header. A ship may resolve one of these abilities as an action. Action. Spend 1 charge to repair 1 action header. Bullseye arc. All ship tokens have a bullseye arc printed inside of their front arc. This narrow arc has no inherent effect, but some card abilities refer to it. The X-Wing is in the TIE Fighter's forward arc at range 1 and in the TIE Fighter's bullseye arc at range 2. Range bonuses. A pilot's accuracy can be dramatically affected by range. It is much easier to shoot a nearby enemy than a distant one. While a ship attacks at range 1, it rolls 1 additional attack die. Conversely, while a ship defends at range 3, it rolls 1 additional defense die. Against the TIE Fighter at range 1, the X-Wing rolls 1 additional attack die. Against the TIE Fighter at range 3, that TIE Fighter rolls 1 additional defense die. Destroying ships. A ship is destroyed when it has a number of damage cards that equals or exceeds its hull value. A destroyed ship is placed on its ship card 3 hull value. The timing of when a destroyed ship is removed from the play area depends on when the ship was destroyed. If a ship is destroyed outside of the engagement phase, it is removed immediately. If a ship is destroyed during the engagement phase, it is removed after all ships that have the same initiative as the currently engaged ship have engaged. This is called the simultaneous fire rule, which represents that ships with the same initiative are essentially attacking at the same time. Fleeing the area. After a ship executes a maneuver, if any part of the ship's base is outside the play area, the ship flees. Much like being destroyed, a ship that flees is removed from the game. Repairing damage cards. If an effect instructs a player to repair a damage card, they can repair either a face-up or face-down damage card. To repair a face-up damage card, that card is flipped face-down. To repair a face-down damage card, that card is discarded to the damage card discard pile. Upgrade cards. Upgrade cards represent the different ways pilots customize their ships, such as incorporating an astromech or equipping ordnance. These cards can provide special abilities or alternative ways to attack. There are many types of upgrades as distinguished by the icon on the left side of the card. Upgrade cards are equipped before a game starts. The squad building section on page 15 describes the process for equipping upgrades. When a ship equips an upgrade card, it is placed partially beneath the ship card or another equipped upgrade so that only the text and art on the upgrade card are visible. Proton torpedoes equipped to an X-Wing. Special weapons. Unlike the primary weapon, the red number and firing arc symbol on a ship card, upgrade cards with the attack header, such as proton torpedoes, are special weapons. A ship can perform an attack with a special weapon instead of using its primary weapon. Special weapons have the following characteristics: arc requirement, attack value, range bonus indicator, range requirement. Arc requirement. This indicates the arc this weapon attacks from. The target must be in this arc for the weapon to be used. Attack value. This is the number of attack dice the attacker rolls. Range requirements. The attack range must match one of the ranges listed for the weapon to be used. Range bonus indicator. If there is a missile symbol present, range bonuses are not applied while attacking with this weapon. Range bonus is not applied. If there is a symbol in parentheses in the header, that symbol indicates an additional attack requirement. This means that the attacking ship needs to have performed that action. For example, a focus symbol means that the attacker needs a focus token, while a lock symbol means the attacker needs to have a lock on the defender. Attack, lock, spend 1 charge, change 1 hit. Example of attack header with a lock requirement. Charges and the Force. Many upgrade cards represent a limited resource, such as a weapon with finite ammo. These cards hold standard charges, which limits how often the ability can be used. Each card with a charge limit, the golden number, starts the game with a number of charges equal to the charge limit. Each charge starts on its active side. The card's ability will instruct the player how and when to spend charges from that card. When a charge is spent, it is flipped to its inactive side. Charge limit, standard charges, active and inactive. During the end phase, each card with a charge limit recovers 1 charge if it has a small arrow next to its charge limit. When a charge is recovered, it is flipped to its active side. Recovery arrow. Force charges. Some pilots can exert their influence over the Force. Pilots who can use the Force have a Force capacity, the purple number, and force charges. Force capacity on a ship card. Force charges, active and inactive. Force capacity and force operate identically to charge limits and charges, but force have an additional function. While attacking, a ship can spend any number of force charges during the attack dice step to change that number of its focus results to hit results. While defending, a ship can spend any number of force charges during the defense dice step to change that number of its focus results to evade results. Increasing, decreasing maneuver difficulty. There are 3 levels of difficulty for maneuvers: red, white, and blue. If an effect increases the difficulty of a maneuver, blue goes to white and white goes to red. Meanwhile, decreasing the difficulty of a maneuver, red goes to white and white goes to blue. Ship sizes. The ships included in the core set are all small ships with a base size of about 1 9/16 inches or 4 centimeters long. The rules of X-Wing are written for small ships, so there are no special exceptions for small ships. Some expansion ships are medium and large ships, which behave similarly to small ships with a few exceptions. See the rules reference for more details. Partial maneuvers. Ships often fully execute maneuvers, which means nothing prevents the ship from being placed at the end of the template. Even when a ship moves through another ship, which means the template is placed on top of that ship, the moving ship still fully executes the maneuver. However, a ship is sometimes unable to be placed at the end of the template because it would overlap another ship. This causes the moving ship to partially execute its maneuver, which means it moves a shorter distance. To partially execute a maneuver, follow these steps. 1. Move the ship backward along the template until its base is no longer overlapping another ship's base. While doing so, adjust the position of the ship so that the hash marks in the middle of both sets of guides remain centered over the line down the middle of the template. 2. Once the ship is no longer on top of any other ship, place it so that it is touching the last ship it backed over. This may result in the ship not leaving its initial position. 3. The ship skips its perform action step. As mentioned in the performing an attack section, ships attack at range 1 to 3, which means a ship cannot attack a ship that it is touching because that ship is at range 0. Example of overlapping multiple ships. 1. The X-Wing attempts to perform a too hard maneuver, but there might be some problems as there appear to be some TIE fighters along its path. 2. Although the X-Wing safely moves through the first TIE fighter, it has overlapped the other one and must partially execute the maneuver by backing up along the template. 3. After making sure to align the hash marks on the front and back of the ship token to the center line of the template, the X-Wing is now overlapping the first ship, so it must back up farther. 4. The X-Wing backs up until it would not be on top of any ship. It is placed touching the last ship that it backed over. These hash marks are used to align the ship when it partially executes a maneuver. Advanced maneuvers. Some maneuvers are advanced maneuvers, which have additional effects. The advanced maneuvers in the core set are described below. Choreographed turn. The choreographed turn bearing advances a ship straight forward, rotating a 180 degrees at the end of the template. This maneuver is executed like a straight maneuver of the same speed, but the player slides the ship's front guides into the end of the template instead of the rear guides. An X-Wing performs a choreographed turn. If the ship cannot fully execute the maneuver, it does not rotate 180 degrees. Talon roll. The left talon roll and right talon roll bearings advance a ship at a tight curve to one side, rotating 90 degrees at the end of the template. This maneuver is executed like a hard left or right turn maneuver of the same direction, but before the player places the ship at the opposite end of the template, the ship is rotated an additional 90 degrees in the same direction as the maneuver. The player places the ship so that the hash mark on the side of the base is aligned to the left, middle, or right of the end of the template. An X-Wing executes a talon roll and has 3 possible final positions. If the ship cannot fully execute the maneuver, it does not rotate 90 degrees. Timing and abilities. If 2 or more abilities resolve at the same time, e.g., at the start of the engagement phase, the abilities are resolved in player order. The first player resolves all of their own abilities with that timing before the other player resolves their own abilities with that timing. Additional token rolls. Besides focus, evade, lock, and stress tokens, there are many different types of tokens that are used to track effects. Below is a list of concepts related to the gaining and spending of tokens. When a ship is instructed to gain a token from the supply is placed in the play area next to that ship. When a ship is instructed to spend a token, or there is an instruction to remove a token from a ship, a token of that type is returned from that ship to the supply. When a ship is instructed to transfer a token to another ship, that token is removed from the ship and the other ship gains it. Additionally, the color and shape of tokens help to remind players of their effects and the time when they are removed. The core set contains green, orange, and red tokens, but some expansions contain blue tokens. Green tokens. These tokens are circular, have positive effects, and are removed during the end phase. Orange tokens. These tokens are circular, have negative effects, and are removed during the end phase. Blue tokens. These tokens are square, have positive effects, and are removed as specified by the token's effect. Red tokens. These tokens are square, have negative effects, and are removed as specified by the token's effect. Other tokens. Below are 2 other tokens included in the core set that are gained from various card effects. Disarm tokens. A ship is disarmed while it has at least 1 disarm token, which is an orange circular token. A disarmed ship cannot perform attacks. As a circular token, all disarm tokens are removed during the end phase. Disarm token. Ion tokens. A ship is ionized while it has a number of ion tokens relative to its size. At least 1 for a small ship, at least 2 for a medium ship, and at least 3 for a large ship. The ion token is a red token. Ion token. During the planning phase, an ionized ship is not assigned a dial. During the activation phase, an ionized ship that did not have a dial assigned to it during the planning phase activates as follows. 1. The ship skips its reveal dial step. 2. During the execute maneuver step, the ionized ship executes the ion maneuver. The ion maneuver is a blue 1 forward maneuver. The bearing, difficulty, and speed of this maneuver cannot be changed unless an ability explicitly affects the ion maneuver. During the perform action step, the ship can perform only the focus action. After the ship finishes this activation, it removes all of its ion tokens. Many special weapons inflict ion tokens instead of dealing damage. If an attack inflicts ion tokens, the defender gains the number of ion tokens indicated. Obstacles. Obstacles present additional challenges for pilots and create variation in the play area from game to game. Obstacles are placed in the play area as described in Step 4 of Setup on page 5. The effects of obstacles are described next. Moving through and overlapping an obstacle. Obstacles do not cause ships to partially execute maneuvers. If a ship overlaps an obstacle, it does not move backward along the template. If a ship moves through or overlaps an obstacle, it suffers different effects depending on the type of obstacle. Asteroid. After executing the maneuver, the ship rolls 1 attack die. On a hit result, it suffers 1 hit damage. On a crit result, it suffers 1 crit damage. Then, regardless of the roll, the ship skips its perform action step this round. During the engagement phase, if a ship is at range 0 of an asteroid, it cannot perform an attack. Debris cloud. After executing the maneuver, the ship gains 1 stress token and rolls 1 attack die. On a crit result, the ship suffers 1 crit damage. Obstruction. An attack is obstructed if the attacker measures range through 1 or more obstacles. If an attack is obstructed, the defender rolls 1 additional defense die during the defense dice step. Ships can also obstruct attacks, but unlike obstacles, this has no inherent effect. Guard abilities may cause an effect to occur for an attack obstructed by a ship. Dial ID token assembly. The dial ID tokens included in all products are used in conjunction with the maneuver dial upgrade kits, which are available for each faction, sold separately. Squad building. There are 2 main modes for playing X-Wing. Quick build. This mode of play offers players a way to create a squad quickly using predefined selections. Each ship comes with quick build cards that list different options for that ship. Each option consists of a ship card, a number of upgrade cards, and a threat level, a number of bars 1 through 5. This threat level represents the approximate strength of that particular combination of pilot and upgrade cards. D-65 X-Wing Luke Skywalker, Instinctive Aim, Proton Torpedoes, R2-D2, Servo Motor S-Foils. This option for Luke is a threat level of 3 indicated by the 3 full bars below his name. To play a match using quick build cards, players must agree to a particular threat level. For a normal game on a 3-foot by 3-foot, 91 centimeter play area, play at threat level 8. You will need more ships than those included in the core set to play at this threat level. Then both players build a squad by choosing a combination of quick build options that add up to that threat level. For example, a player who owns just the core set could build a squad for a game at a threat level of 3 and choose the Iden Versio and Academy pilot options from the quick build cards included in this product. Squad points. If players want control over their pilots and upgrades, they can build squads using squad points. When playing on a 3-foot by 3-foot play area, play at a squad point limit of 200. To build a squad in this way, players must download the official X-Wing Squad Builder on their mobile device or access the Squad Builder via xwing.com. The X-Wing Squad Builder explains the rules of squad point building and enforces these rules so that players do not accidentally build illegal squads. The website also includes a printable list of all cards and other squad point costs and upgrade options. Limited. Some cards are limited as identified by 1 or more bullets to the left of their name. A squadron cannot have more copies of a card that share the same name than the number of bullets in front of that name. This rule is used for all modes of play. For example, Luke Skywalker has one bullet in front of his name, so a player can have only one card named Luke Skywalker in their list, either as a ship card or an upgrade card. Escalation. Instead of a normal match, players can enjoy an escalation match, in which they control a series of increasingly dangerous ships. To play an escalation match, players build a squad as described in the quick build section with a threat level of 4. If playing with only the core set, see the core set escalation rules below. Then the players set up the game. After placing obstacles, the first player places the hyperspace marker marked 1 into the play area. It must be placed beyond range 0 of all obstacles and beyond range 1 of the edges of the play area. Then the other player places hyperspace marker 2 following the same rules, but it must be placed beyond range 3 of marker 1. During the end phase, if a ship was destroyed during that round, its player chooses 1 or 2 pilots from their collection of quick build cards whose total threat is 1 higher than the destroyed ship's threat. Then that player selects one of the 2 hyperspace markers and rolls 1 attack die. The ship is placed in the play area so that its rear guides are flush against the side of the hyperspace marker that corresponds to the die result. On a crit result, the player chooses any side of the marker instead. Since a hit result was rolled, the X-Wing is placed aligned to that side. If a ship would be placed overlapping another ship, it is instead placed in the next available side in clockwise order. If none are available, the process is repeated on the other hyperspace marker. At the end of a round, if a player has destroyed enemy ships whose total threat is more than twice the match's threat level, that player wins. If both players have accomplished this goal, play continues until one player's total is higher. Core set escalation. Instead of building squads, the rebel player starts with the quick build selection for Blue Squadron Escort, and the Imperial pilot starts with 2 Academy pilots. If the Blue Squadron Escort is destroyed, the rebel player can choose to replace them with either the Luke Skywalker or Czech Borgen's quick build selection. If that ship is destroyed, the Imperial player wins. If an Academy pilot is destroyed, the Imperial player replaces it with either the Iden Versio or Valen Rudor quick build selection. If the other Academy pilot is destroyed, it is replaced with the remaining pilot. If the Rebel player has destroyed 3 TIE fighters, the Rebel player wins. Beyond the core set, many exciting adventures await you in the wide galaxy of X-Wing. As a Rebel player, you can relive some of your favorite moments using the Millennium Falcon or Ghost. If you're more of an Imperial player, you can make your opponents fall to the might of the Empire with Darth Vader in his TIE Advanced X1 or a swarm of your favorite TIE variants. Alternatively, you can join up with the forces of scum and villainy using your favorite bounty hunters from Boba Fett to Zuckuss alongside other untrustworthy criminals. The following sections provide brief summaries of new concepts that are added in expansions. These summaries are intended as a preview and a handy reference. Players do not need to learn these rules until they own expansions that use these new concepts. The detailed rules for these concepts can be found in the rules reference at xwing.com. New actions. There are many other actions available to ships included in expansions. Calculate. When a ship performs the Calculate action, it gains 1 Calculate token, which is a green circular token. A ship may spend a Calculate token to change one of its focus results to a hit or evade results. Calculate token. Cloak. When a ship performs the cloak action, it gains 1 cloak token, which is a blue token. A cloaked ship has the following effects. Its agility value is increased by 2. It is disarmed. It cannot perform the cloak action or gain a second cloak token. During the system phase, each cloaked ship may spend its cloak token to decloak, as described below. Small ship, it must choose to boost or barrel roll with the 2 forward template. Medium or large ship, it must choose to boost or barrel roll with the 1 forward template. Coordinate. When a ship performs the coordinate action, it chooses another friendly ship at range 1 to 2. That ship performs an action. Jam. When a ship performs the jam action, it chooses 1 ship at range 1 and assigns it a jam token, which is an orange circular token. Jam token. When a ship becomes jammed, the player whose effect caused the ship to gain the jam token chooses for the jammed ship to either remove 1 of its green tokens or break 1 of its locks. If either effect is resolved, it removes the jam token. Otherwise, the ship remains jammed. After a jammed ship gains a green token or acquires a lock, it removes that token or breaks that lock, then removes the jam token. Similar to Ion, some special weapons inflict jam tokens instead of dealing damage. If an attack inflicts jam tokens, the defender gains the number of jam tokens indicated. Reinforce. When a ship performs the reinforce action, it gains a reinforce token with either the fore or aft side face up, which is a green circular token. When a reinforced ship defends, if the attacker is only in the full arc, forward or back, matching the token fore or aft respectively, reduce the damage the attack deals by 1 to a minimum of 1. Reinforce fore, reinforce aft. In this example, since the VT-49 decimator has a 4 reinforcement token, the effect would only apply while defending against 1 X-Wing in front of it. Reload. When a ship performs the reload action, it reloads by performing the following steps. 1. Choose one of the ship's equipped missile, torpedo, or payload upgrade cards that has fewer active charges than its charge limit. 2. That card recovers 1 charge. 3. The ship gains 1 disarm token. Rotate. When a ship performs the rotate action, it rotates the turret arc indicator to select a different arc described later. Single turret arc indicator. Slam. When a ship performs a slam action, it performs the following steps. 1. The player chooses a maneuver from the ship style. The maneuver must match the speed of the maneuver that the ship executed this round. 2. The ship executes the chosen maneuver. 3. The ship gains 1 disarm token. A ship can perform a slam action only during the perform action step. Tractor tokens. A ship is tractored while it has a number of tractor tokens relative to its size. At least 1 for a small ship, at least 2 for a medium ship, and at least 3 for a large ship. A tractor token is an orange circular token. Tractor token. After a ship becomes tractored, the opposing player may choose one of the following effects. The ship performs a barrel roll using the 1 forward template, selecting the direction of the barrel roll and the final position. The ship performs a boost using the 1 forward template. This barrel roll or boost can cause the ship to overlap an obstacle and does not count as performing an action. During the engagement phase, a ship with at least one tractor token rolls one fewer defense die. Similar to Ion, some special weapons inflict tractor tokens instead of dealing damage. If an attack inflicts tractor tokens, the defender gains the number of tractor tokens instead. Condition cards. Condition cards are cards assigned by ship and upgrade cards that represent persistent game effects. A condition card is not in play until a game effect assigns it to a ship. When a condition card is assigned, its text resolves. Condition card. After a ship is assigned a condition card, place the associated condition marker next to that ship as a reminder of the card's persistent effect. Condition marker. Arcs. Besides the forward front arc and bullseye arc described in detail earlier, there are other arcs. These arcs are sometimes used with primary or special attacks or are used for card effects. Standard arcs. There are 4 types of standard arcs created from the crossed diagonal arc lines. In addition to the front arc, there is also rear arc and 2 side arcs. Full arcs. There are 2 full arcs that use the hash marks on the side of the ship base instead. There is the full front arc and full rear arc. Turret arcs. There are 2 types of turret arc indicators, single turret and double turret. During setup, a ship with a primary or special turret, single turret or double turret weapon adds the corresponding turret arc indicator to its base. The standard arc that the turret arc indicator is pointing towards is a firing arc. While a ship performs a single turret attack, it can attack a target that is in its single turret arc. A ship with a double turret arc indicator is treated as having 2 single turret arcs in opposite directions. This HWK-290 is able to attack to the right. This modified YT-1300 is able to attack both to the left and to the right. Friendly and enemy. Many abilities refer to friendly and enemy ships, which are relative terms. A ship is friendly to all of the ships in its own squad, and it is an enemy ship to all of the opposing squad's ships. Additionally, a ship is friendly to itself. Device. Each device upgrade card allows a ship to drop or launch a specific type of device that provides additional rules for how they behave. Bombs. Bombs are devices that detonate at the end of the activation phase, affecting nearby ships. Mines. Mines are devices that detonate when a ship moves through or overlaps them, affecting that ship. Dropping and launching devices. To drop a device, follow the steps below. 1. Take the template indicated on the upgrade card. 2. Set the template between the ship's rear guides. 3. Place the device indicated on the upgrade card into the play area and slide the guides of the device into the opposite end of the template. Then remove the template. To launch a device, follow the steps below. 1. Take the template indicated on the upgrade card. 2. Set the template between the ship's front guides. 3. Place the device indicated on the upgrade card into the play area and slide the guides of the device into the opposite end of the template. Then remove the template. Other maneuvers. Some ships can perform the following advanced maneuvers. Seigneur's Loop. The left Seigneur's Loop and right Seigneur's Loop bearings advance the ship at a shallow curve to one side, then turn it around. This uses the same template as the left and right bank maneuvers. This X-Wing performs a 3 Seigneur's Loop. Stationary. The stationary bearing does not move the ship from its current position. This maneuver does not use a template, but the ship does count as having executed a maneuver. Reverse straight and reverse bank. Reverse maneuvers move a ship backwards instead of forwards. At the start of the maneuver, instead of sliding the template between the front guides of the ship's base, slide it between the rear guides. Additionally, when the ship is moved, the player slides the ship's front guides into the end of the template instead of the rear guides. Reserve. Some card effects place ships in reserve. A ship that is placed in reserve is placed on its ship card. While a ship is in reserve, it is not assigned a tile. It cannot perform actions, and it cannot attack. The abilities of a ship in reserve are inactive for all purposes, unless the ability explicitly allows it to be used while it is in reserve. A ship that is placed in reserve always has an effect that causes it to be placed in the play area. Docking and deploying. Some abilities allow a ship to be attached to or ride inside another ship. If a card ability instructs a ship to dock with a carrier ship, the docked ship is placed in reserve. A docked ship is able to deploy from its carrier ship during the system phase, or make an emergency deployment if its carrier ship is destroyed. These rules are described in further detail in the rules reference. Credits. 2nd edition game design and development, Frank Brooks with Max Brook and Alex Davey. 1st edition game design, Jay Little. 1st edition game development, Adam Sadler, Brady Sadler, and Stephen Kimball. Producer, Derek Fuchs. Editing, Robert McCohen. Proofreading, Alan Kennedy. Miniatures game manager, John Schaefer. Graphic design, Sean Boyke with Dwayne Nichols and Evan Simonet. Graphic design manager, Christopher Hosh. Cover art, Mark Molnar. Interior art, Matt Alsop, Matt Bradbury, Blake Henriksen, Imaginary FSPT Limited, Lucas Jaskolski, Jorge Mais, Mark Molnar, Nicholas Stallman, and Jose Vega. Art direction, Crystal Chang. Managing art director, Melissa Scheller. Sculpting, Jason Boudin and Benjamin Milet. Quality assurance coordinator, Zach Towell-Thalmas. Licensing coordinators, Sherry Anisi and Long Mao. Licensing manager, Simone Elliott. Production management, Jason Beaudoin and Megan Doan. Visual creative director, Brian Schomburg. Senior project manager, John Franz Wickschloss. Senior manager of product development, Chris Gerber. Executive game designer, Corey Konaiska. Publisher, Andrew Navarro. Special thanks to Gavin Duffy, Jordan Rosario, and Grover Murphy. Lucasfilm Limited. Licensing approvals, Brian Merton. Playtesters, Mishari Alfaris, Hilal Almotari, James Ayers, Greg Berezewski, Eric Burling, Jeff Burling, James Blakely, Nick Bond, Franz Bongers, Joel Breiger, John Bushman, Audrey Karstison, Jeremy Chambly, Quinn Coviney, Sean Coviney, Andy Davis, Peta Dyken, James Elhart, Mark Fletcher, Matthias Freisel, Jason Gore, Chris Graff, Ian Hamp, Kath Hare, Paul Heaver, Brent Engelveld, Daniel Hoffman, Matt Holland, William Humphreys, Jesse Jarowski, Kevin Kawada, Nassim Katiti, Eric Lalaland, Jimmy Lee, Jason O'Gorman, Angelic Phelps, Joseph Phelps, Wade Bichet, Daniel Poppy, Dustin Foscalchi, Wagner Prinz, Gordon Rosario, Gianni Rosie, Alex Saunders, Ken Saunders, Vincent Schilderman, Andrew Schluter, Hart Schaefer, Stephen Sherwood, Brian Ciela, Till Simon, Joseph Ira Smith, Sam Talley, Derek Tokaz, Jesse Tonke, Dan Kupsausi, Jeremy Trad, Jason Trowbridge, Jens Vandenberg, Just Van Ginge, Nick White, Chris Wilson, Jelle Zuring. Copyright and trademark Lucasfilm Limited. No part of this product may be used without specific written permission. Fantasy Flight Supply is a trademark of Fantasy Flight Games. Fantasy Flight Games and the FFG logo are registered of Fantasy Flight. Fantasy Flight Games is located at 1995 West County Road B2, Roseville, Minnesota 55113, USA 651-639-1905. Actual components may vary from those shown. Made in China. This product is not a toy, not intended for use of persons 13 years of age or younger. Quick reference. The game round. 1. Planning phase. Each player secretly plans their ship's maneuvers by assigning them face-down tiles. 2. System phase. In ascending order of initiative, each ship that has an effect that says it can be used during the system phase resolves those abilities. 3. Activation phase. In ascending order of initiative, each ship reveals its tile, executes its maneuver, and may perform one action. 4. Engagement phase. In descending order of initiative, each ship may perform one attack. 5. End phase. Players remove all circular tokens. Range bonus. When attacking with a primary weapon or a special weapon with the range bonus icon. Range 1 plus 1 red die. Range 3 plus 1 green die. Range bonus does not apply. List of actions. Barrel roll. Move sideways with 1 straight template. Boost. Move forward with 1 bank left, 1 straight, or 1 right bank template. Calculate. Gain 1 calculate token. Cloak. Gain 1 cloak token. Coordinate. A friendly ship at range 1 to 2 performs an action. Evade. Gain 1 evade token. Focus. Gain 1 focus token. Lock. Acquire a lock on a ship at range 0 to 3. Jam. A ship at range 1 gains 1 jam token. Reinforce. Gain 1 fore or aft reinforce token. Reload. Recover 1 charge on a missile, torpedo, or payload upgrade. Rotate. Rotate your turret arc indicator. Slam. Execute a maneuver with the same speed. Performing an attack. 1. Declare target. A. Measure range. B. Choose weapon. C. Declare defender. D. Pay costs. 2. Attack dice. A. Roll attack dice. B. Defender modifies attack dice. C. Attacker modifies attack dice. 3. Defense dice. A. Roll defense dice. B. Attacker modifies defense dice. C. Defender modifies defense dice. 4. Neutralize results. A. Evade results cancel hit results. B. Evade results cancel crit results. C. Determine whether attack hits. 5. Deal damage. A. Defender suffers hit damage. B. Defender suffers crit damage. 6. Aftermath. A. Resolve after defending abilities. B. Resolve after attacking abilities. C. Possibly perform bonus attack. List of tokens. Calculate, evade, focus, reinforce, cloak, disarm, jam, tractor, ion, lock, stress, list of markers, shield, standard charge, force charge, critical damage, condition. Those were the days. How many rules did you notice have changed since 2018? Leave your favorite rules update in the comments below. A big thank you to preeminent Judge Victor Yaj. As always, thank you so much for watching and listening. If you want to support this absurdist creative endeavor, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the bell notification so you get a friendly reminder next Friday when the new video comes out. Then head over to patreon.com/glitterstim ASMR and become a patron at any level to access exclusive videos. And if you can't afford the credits right now, a friendly recommendation to your local X-Wing community is always appreciated. May the Force be with you.